We believe that a lot of these challenges can be tackled with smart glasses, or at least with the addition of smart glasses in daily operations. Some of the benefits I would like to highlight include, I think the obvious one, which maybe everybody already heard about, is remote assistance, where you basically, from a distance, anywhere in the world, you can, through a live stream, see what the actual inspector is doing and help with that. So, especially very relevant today in COVID times, it's not necessary to fly someone over to another part of the world to help somewhere. They can simply do it behind a computer. Next, hands-free inspection, which is also the topic of today. So actually the ability to perform inspections and follow checklists totally without using your hands, all with voice commands. Stuff like taking photos, making videos, answering all kinds of questions, filling in values are also all possible with voice commands with the smart glasses. But also the ability, for example, to have a blueprint of an equipment or an asset, something like that, open at all time and see it actually in your line of sight when you're doing certain actions. The next one, which is also interesting, is our knowledge transfer and training. If you have, like, let's say, a combination between senior and junior workers, it's again not necessary anymore that the senior workers always on site. You can maybe let less experienced workers do certain stuff, and the senior worker can step in that process when necessary. And the same could be said about training purposes, of course, which I will also get back to later in my presentation. And of course, which is maybe an often overlooked part, is you have actually the opportunity to redesign your work process, because as I also said before, a smart glass can also be seen as an addition to your work process, not necessarily as I believe substitute is the right word to a tablet, to shape certain parts of your process to be specifically used by the smart glasses. And yeah, finally, of course, greater operational efficiency because of everything you just mentioned. I think, Jelle, you have a question?
Yeah, because there's an interesting discussion going on, let's say, in the chat. First point of discussion is actually that smart glasses are very expensive, they say. And it's really difficult to find good ATEX smart glasses also with the certification. So maybe from all your research, Aydin, and all the different vendors you spoke to, you can already give some vision on how that market is evolving. And secondly, let's say with data connectivity, and I think you also have a good answer, let's say, on that part, since the smart glass is its own device, right? So in terms of inspections,
So the first one, there are exactly vendors that already offer, let's say, explosion-proof, ATEX certified smart glasses. What I see personally is you have, let's say, you have different categories indeed. So you have a lot of smart glasses there that are some smart glasses that are under the 1,000 euros range, something like that. And I see that let's say, category is also growing. What you see is that the smart glasses that are, let's say, a device on their own, so they're most often not necessarily an extra to a tablet, but it's basically a tablet on its own because it's also running on Android, are a little bit more expensive. In those kind of situations, of course, the smart glasses can basically take over the whole inspection process if necessary, because it is running on Android, it is an Android-based device. You can basically do everything with it that you can also do with let's say, with a tablet. So the vendors that offer actually ATEX devices are, let's say, relatively a bit low, but I see let's say the offerings are definitely growing. And I think what was the second question, Jelle, about data?
Yeah, so let's say we have the connection question, so data connection. Because let's say for remote assistance, we know that there needs to be, let's say, a live connection between, let's say, the smart glass and the people, let's say, that give remote assistance at that moment on the desk.
Yeah.
So what about data connection? And the second question, because I will ask one more then. So the different mounting possibilities, let's say. So in the picture we see here that the person cannot wear hearing protection. So, but I believe also there the smart glass vendors have different ideas or possibilities.
Yeah. So to answer your first question, yeah, we see also with different Smartflow vendors, different solutions. A lot of them have, let's say, their own application where you can remotely download it on your desktop or laptop and connect with the smart glasses that your users are using. But we also see an increased amount of vendors that are, let's say, integrating with the tools that we all know. So, for example, I recently saw a smart glass vendor that was able to join a call in Microsoft Teams and to actually, so you can actually have a Microsoft Teams call, and one of the respondents are, let's say, is using his smart glasses. To answer your second question, yeah, so we have some smart glasses are, let's say, also built-in safety glasses. They can even have, let's say, a prescription. Some of them are, as you can see in the picture, they have, let's say, the safety glasses is something you have to buy yourself, and the smart glasses that you see in the picture is like something that's in the bottom right of the corner. And we also have, so with the version that there are glasses on its own, you can easily wear ear protection, or if necessary, earbuds, which go under the ear.
But with the smart glass, let's say with the first question, they're also being used to store data locally, right? So that you can also work offline even with smart glasses, although that will not be remote assistance, but let's say for the inspection process.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So okay, so no, I thought your question was specific on remote assistance, but no, if we go further than remote assistance, of course, on these devices, the data can just be stored locally on the smart glasses themselves. And you can even indeed work offline in situations where there's no internet connectivity. And when you're online again, everything will sync, of course, depending on the business solution that you or the software business solution you are running on the smart glasses.